Hey, welcome to Bassmaster Live. It has been a joy to watch the best of the best. Hard-nosed competition for 3 days of this 4-day tournament on a fantastic Lake Eufaula. I guess we missed it so much, it just seems that much more enhanced. And it has been a completely satisfying experience. But right now, we got to get down to business. We're down to 12 anglers on this final day. And one of them, only one, will hold the trophy at the end of the day. Oh, sorry, 10 anglers. I'm living in the past. I'm fishing the past.
You're excited.
I'm excited. I am excited. And I think we're going to have a great time today. We got a leader who has a substantial lead. And Mark Zona, we got a fishery that has been hit hard. It's a great fishery, but it's been hit hard. But someone is going to find something.
Well, interestingly enough, here on Lake Eufaula, it's been hit hard, but it has lived up to the reputation as not one of the best lakes in the state of Alabama, but really one of the best lakes in our country right now. This lake probably has a better population of 3 to 4.5 pound bass than a lot of places that we go to throughout an entire season.
Scott Canterbury is our leader. Scott Canterbury, of course, probably the hottest guy in fishing right now, along with Hank Cherry, the classic champ, last year's Angler of the Year guy. We thought he had 19 pounds when we ended the day yesterday. Turns out he had 4 pounds more than that, or almost 5 pounds more than that. That's going to make a difference.
I think all of us kind of small-eyed everything that Scott
did.
But here's the one thing to say, and this is no joke. If you really followed the 2019 Bassmaster Elite Series season, if you just get to Championship Saturday, you have a chance. You have a chance. And in a tournament like this, that it almost seems like when you think you're on them, you start. Bill Lowen, the first day, Davey Height said, this guy will be here in the end. Yeah. And all of a sudden it kind of just goes away. We looked at Clark Wendell and we said, oh, he's going to be in the top 3 come Championship Saturday. And then he kind of disappears. We've just seen a lot of jockeying for position. And the other side of this is, really, if you look at what happened to Shane LeHue yesterday, granted, he had a penalty, there is still a 24 to 26 pound bag sitting on Lake Eufaula.
Yeah, he had that. Absolutely had that. The penalty knocked him out. Mark Zona, Tommy Sanders here in the Bassmaster Studios. Thank you, friends, for being with us for this day, this final day of our second event of the year for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Also with us, of course, Ronnie Moore, and the Such Mike Sucon. Ronnie, we've got a bigger lead than we thought today, but like Z says, there's some big bags out there still.
We got to see on the Starbright Facebook Live this morning all of the offshore guys starting to really get into a groove, and some of the guys started on their juice. Brandon Cobb ran straight to the area that he caught all his weight yesterday, didn't get anything, and has to make an adjustment. So some of these offshore guys are going to figure out the new rotation that'll work for them today that might be different from the past few days.
Such, what are you bringing this morning?
Old Abner, old Ray Scott has done it again. The Elite Series never fails to bring the drama. It's like old Abner's done it again. Mike Shannon used to say that in St. Louis all the time when there's a crazy, neat baseball. I'm on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? Who's going to catch him? Who's not going to catch him? The Elite Series gives all the time. It's just drama. Every single event.
Bringing it.
You're right. Good point. We're going to get out there and get a big handful of that to start our day with. But first, let's set up this incredible playing field, or hummingbird lay of the lake on the Chattahoochee River, is Lake Eufaula, and it's always been historically very important to the sport of bass fishing. It's been great.
Before I get into this hummingbird lay of the lake, I have missed you three. I have missed you three so much.
And old Abner too.
Hummingbird lay of the lake, Lake Eufaula, one of our longest playing fields that we have on the Bassmaster Elite Tour, or the only thing really compared to another lake as long is really the St. Lawrence River, 85 miles long from dam all the way up the Chattahoochee River. The river system really not as big of a player as some people thought it would be coming into this tournament. It's really been from that dam all the way up to our takeoff there at Lake Point State Park. And, well, we're going to definitely see some footage that has already gone down right around our takeoff this morning.
We'll talk about the conditions leading up to and during this tournament as well, things that all these anglers have to deal with. They've constantly got to be making changes. They've been making changes on the leaderboard this morning while we were away.
Wow.
Jamie Hartman now, the man on top. Jamie Hartman, who won. He knows how to win, that's for sure. He won twice out of 9 events on the regular season last year.
Really looking at that leaderboard right there, if you're just tuning in with us here on Championship Saturday, the weights throughout this week, it was staggering how many 16 to 18 pound stringers were really scattered throughout the field. Even a lot of the best locals were blown away just at how many of that 3.5 pound size average bag was weighed in this tournament.
Well, we're going to get out and take a look at our current leader, of course, Scott Canterbury, with that 4th-down lead to start the day. And I don't think there's any reason for Scott to worry right now. We know how he operates. He's going to catch him steady all day.
Steady, but somebody that's been really solid all tournament long, especially the first 2 hours every single morning. Jamie Hartman working a little 30-yard stretch on the main river ledge. Yet again, here on Championship Saturday, it ignited again.
Yeah, there it is. She's hooked good. Get in here. Let's get you in one shot.
And really, this is not the first time that we've seen Jamie Hartman in the state of Alabama making a push on the final day
Get on up in here.
of a Bassmaster Elite Series tournament. Got to see it last year on Lake Guntersville.
1 year ago, almost exactly.
Get on up in here. Golly, they're digging it deep.
Really, in a short 4 years or so, he has made himself a top-tier guy, and he's going to be hard to deal with today.
No doubt. And Jamie Hartman said, man, I'm a guy that needs a lot of practice.
Yes.
I need a lot of time to look around, especially when I'm fishing deep. And he said, I've got really one good spot on Lake Eufaula, and he has mined this every single morning for everything it's worth. And the most amazing thing, it has reloaded.
Here's live Jamie Hartman, and he is hooked up again.
Ouch.
Jamie, you want to let us know what's happening this morning?
Number 5, 253, it's number 5. Yeah, man, it's on fire. I was worried about this wind. And it's a 240. But I'm gonna check number 5 just in case. That was the one that's hooked down in there. Seems to be real good. Oh yeah, he good. All right, we're letting these go, man. They're not helping us right now. But yeah, I seem to locate them, and they're in there. They was biting funny a little while ago, and I thought it was gonna get tough, but they're still chewing. Maybe this wind change was a good thing, and I had to reposition the boat completely to get on these fish, but I found them right away. So, man, oh man, is this frayed up. I'm trying not to waste so much time because I know it's gonna, every day, man, it's been like a light switch. He had me in the brush. There's some timber down there. It's just a little sweet spot in a slight corner of the river channel. That's all it is, just a slight corner. And the water flows into it, and there's a depression. And I'm throwing in about 24, 25 feet of water. And they seem to be stacking up right there. Yesterday, they were real scattered. The day before, they were real scattered. Today, I've got about 2 casts where I'm catching them real good.
Well, Jamie Hart, one of these guys who is totally committed to, I don't know if we've seen him fish shallow, maybe just a couple of times during the course of this tournament, like Clark Wendlandt. He's committed. There's his fish for this morning right there.
We talked about early morning flurries all week long and timing. Well, your timing better be on the first hour and a half of this event. We've seen so many of these offshore spots ignite, and then they tend to die off right around 9 o'clock. And Jamie Hartman has made the most of this one spot. And throughout the day, you'll see a little cull here or a little cull there. But most of his damage was on that little depression offshore that we just saw him on.
Jamie Hite, one of those guys who's just really still running on the great momentum he built last year. Another person who would fit that description. At the other end of the lake is Drue Cooks, last year's Rookie of the Year. Spent a lot of time on top of the Angler of the Year stats during the course of the season. This was some action from him this morning. Put a limit in the boat fairly early.
Little feller.
Just like Jamie Hartman, Drue Cooks getting one of those schools ignited. Predominantly in this tournament, it's been a 10-inch worm for most of the guys that have definitely made hay offshore. A little bit of cranking here and there.
A little bit better.
Here's one. Let me throw a sweet stat to you, Sue. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Drue Cooks lives an hour from here, right? Hour and a half.
Hour. Yep.
He has fished here in his lifetime.
much better, but he is better.
3 times. I said, you have fished Lake Eufaula 3 times.
A little bit better.
He said, man, why would I drive past Lake Seminole ever?
Plus, he's got a sweet little lake there in northern Florida.
He
That's
does.
sort of his headquarters.
Yes.
So that's.
Well, his roommate, Drew Bent, lives between Seminole. He just moved to Berkeley, Georgia, and was pre-practicing up here a lot and had 30-pound, close to 30-pound days a bunch.
Yeah.
And he just landed.
Man,
a
this place is,
6-pounder.
I mean, it's
Drew Bent.
phenomenal. Obviously, you know, you saw the weights the first 2 days, but I mean, all 3 days, it's been unreal. There's so many 3-pounders in here, 3 and 4-pounders. I mean, it's crazy. It's not the best time of year to be here. You know, obviously the spring, it's a lot better, but I mean, there was over 20-pound bags the first day or something like that. I mean, that's just unheard of. It's crazy. This place it's funny. Like, it's a ledge fishing place, but they don't really care about current, and they just get on like odd and end things, little hard spots just out on a flat. You know, the brush pile deal, since the grass is gone, has really, you know, taken over pretty much everything. Because what used to be all, you know, hydrilla down there was, you know, green and topped out probably by now, and we'd be throwing, you know, frogs and punching and chatterbaits and swim jigs. All that grass is gone now, so they put the brush piles out, and it's like those fish, they swim out to the ledges, and then I guess this place gets so much pressure, or maybe it's a mayfly hatch or something, and they all like leave the ledges, and then they just trickle back and, you know, get smarter. So those brush piles going to and from are, you know, a place for them to stop and feed and, you know, hang out. And that's how, statistically on this lake, how it gets won in the past, I would say, you know, 10 years or so, 8 years. You know, it's a brush pile deal, and it's hitting as many of them as possible. There's thousands of piles on this lake, and, you know, you pull up, make 3 or 4 or 5 casts, don't get a bite, you leave, you go to the next one. So it's definitely a different deal. I've never fished anywhere that's quite like it. The lake that I live on is kind of the same. You know, they set up kind of the same. We don't have a whole lot of man-made brush piles like here, but the fish still relate to it. But I don't know, it's been fun. I mean, I've got a big old bruise right here. I've caught, you know, probably 150 fish in the tournament.
Drue Cooks
Practice
there.
wasn't all that great. I sat behind that steering wheel for just about all of practice. You know, just idling, graphing ledges, graphing for brush piles, because that's how I thought it was going to go down, and really had no idea what I was going to be able to catch, because I hardly caught anything in practice. So I had to commit to the brush pile game. Really hurt me not to go up shallow with all this great shallow grass, but I guess it got me here, so it paid off.
All right, Drue Cooks giving a good summation of kind of the state of, that's the majority opinion, what he was voicing there, I think, of where the fish are right now.
As many brush piles in a day. We've said it all week. It's a law of average. Fish as many as you can. Let's get out to your day 3 leader after our day 3 weigh-in, Scott Canterbury.
With 64
A lot bigger bag than all of us.
Oh my gosh, yeah, about 4 pounds bigger, and you know, Scott, you don't want to be the guy who overestimates. So if you're going to air, you want to air low. Scott was cautious about that. As we get back out to Scott, let's take a look at what happened earlier.
Actually caught this one on a jig, but predominantly the majority of his damage all week long, and we're going to show that bait later, a net bait 11-inch C-Mac worm. 8 to 11-inch worms seem to be the recipe for Lake Eufaula all week long. And again, like listening to Drue Cooks, Clark Wendelant, guys that we have followed offshore all week long, fish as many as possible. Don't sit on a brush pile for an hour and a half and wait for them. Make 5 to 8 casts, move on. A lot of these brush piles that these guys have concentrated on. Another one earlier this morning for Scott Canterbury. Not very deep brush piles. You're looking at about 7 to 15 feet of water.
So there you go. Like we say, don't worry about Scott Canterbury getting his today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty much the same as the first couple of days. It's a little slow, but we got two pretty good ones, one little bitty one, you know, they got to get rid of, but I'm just gonna keep bouncing around. I feel like you keep bouncing around, you get some bites. It's not like it's wide open, but there's so many big ones in here, man. The lake is so good that you're gonna bump into a couple of them more than likely if you're in good productive areas. So, I mean, I think I'm doing the right thing. I just got to get a few more bites and hopefully pull this thing out.
Be a hard guy to bet against. The only guy who's caught 20 pounds plus each and every day of the tournament, all 3 days leading up to Championship Saturday today. Scott Canterbury, who just also assumed the lead in the Angler of the Year category, points category as well. A guy with momentum is going to be hard to stop. Very, very hard to stop. But as you pointed out, Mark Zona, there's some big bags out there somewhere. We saw it yesterday. A 25-pound bag is out there. Jamie Hartman, Caleb Khufu, Drue Cooks, and all the rest pursuing Scott Canterbury.
Bassmaster Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
I can vividly remember back when I was a kid and, searching for information. And it was so much work and it was such a struggle to get that knowledge, to get that information.
We talked about the equipment, we talked about the bait, we talked about how to pick it apart.
It's highly detailed, specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly. That's what the B.A.S. University is all about.
If you love bass fishing, then show your support by joining B.A.S.S today. With your membership, you'll receive every issue of Bassmaster magazine, plus $50 in free gear, including a membership tackle bag, B.A.S.S cap, plus more. Click now on this video to join today.
The DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is brought to you by Power Pole, Skeeter Boats, Yamaha, and by Toyota.
How nice it is to be able to bring you a weekend with some championship level bass fishing. It's Championship Saturday. As a matter of fact, this one wraps up today.
How do you like Championship Saturday?
We've never had one. We've had multiple Championship Mondays. I think we've had even a Championship Tuesday.
I think it's got a lot of flair, a lot of pop to it.
Maybe some sizzle, touch of sizzle.
Not yet. No.
A touch of sizzle for Scott Canterbury. Took the big lead into today. Again, the only angler to catch over 20 pounds each and every day of this tournament. So solid, so hard to budge off his track toward a victory. He'll be looking for his first elite victory to add to his Angler of the Year title for last year. Coming up yesterday, just behind him. Hey,
and I'm going to be able to help with this.
Khufu, okay.
Caleb Khufu, this whole pan thing that we've talked about the entire week. I dissected this with Caleb last night. Caleb Khufu, from where? From where?
McWanago,
Wisconsin.
And he has got it done so far this morning. One of the only anglers we've covered fishing shallow all week long. Saw Bill Lowen on day number 2, slipped up a little bit. Caleb Khufu refinding his buzzbait bite early
That's a good
today.
One. Decent anyway. Yes.
He overtook Canterbury for the lead early.
That one's got some weird colors on him. Look at that thing. It's all red and pink. Probably 2.5.
Oh, that looks fun. That does look fun.
Very reminiscent of the lacrosse type Mississippi River fishing, which is where Caleb does most of his work.
Caleb
has the previous years.
Well, it's been a decent morning. I got 5 in the box, still for about 11 pounds or so. Just don't have the size. I got one pretty decent one in there, but I'm gonna need to cull out, pretty much everything I got if I'm gonna make a move today. So we'll see how it goes. Still sticking with the buzzbait. I was using that all morning. I don't know. I've got probably 10 bites on it, so they're definitely eating it better than yesterday. So just need a bigger bite.
Caleb, just like all the rest, as he expressed there, is going to have a big day, and he's not going to get help from the guy who started with the big lead if the last year of history tells us anything.
Exactly right. And one of the things, if you look at where he's throwing that buzz bait, in a lot of that more sparse water willow, that's what he's been doing in the morning. But really what's been interesting, he's fishing a homemade jig later in the day, really on the outside of a lot of the thicker vegetation. And he's been fishing within probably about 5 to 8 miles of our takeoff. And it really seems amazingly like a lot of his shallow vegetation has reloaded every single day. In fact, yesterday, some of his bigger bites, he said, wow, they're back. This is where I caught a bunch of them on days 1 and 2. For a shallow water tournament, he has won that this week.
Oh, he's won the shallow. No doubt about that. We'll be bearing down, grinding on that all day long. Let's get out to our associate, Davey Height. A lot of history Davey has with this place. And he's going out there and he's run across Drew Benton. Now, Drew Benton has worked his way back into the top 10 to be here on this final day. And Davey, how are you this morning? Good to see you. And what looks different out there today?
Well, great to see you, Tommy. And you mentioned history on this flake. I got to tell you a real quick story. This tournament is so similar to the 2002 event here that Denny Brower won for several different reasons. This tournament is very close. We've seen the leaders swap every day multiple times, and it'll probably be that way today. Heck, it already has been that way several times today. Denny Brower won that tournament. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I finished third or fourth, but I think it was third. 3 ounces behind Denny Brower. Randy Blockett finished second, 1 ounce behind Denny Brower, and there may have been one more person in there, but I remember, man, I've never finished so far back to only be 3 ounces from winning. Here's the other thing so similar to this tournament. High water. It was a mid to late May tournament that year, but high water. I started off the first day of that event, caught 20 pounds offshore on a hair jig. Ended up that final day of that event throwing a buzz bait like we've seen anglers do so far this morning. Very, very similar. And here's the big thing that's very unusual for this time of year. High water. This morning the lake is at 189.6, the highest it's been all week of competition. That may change things. They're not supposed to generate until after these guys are supposed to check back in. So we could see where yesterday the water was lower during the middle of the day, and maybe that caused some of those shallow water fishermen. We saw that bite fall off big time, but it's higher. And here's a guy that knows a lot about this lake, Drew Benton, who I'm on, caught a 6-pounder on a brush pile out there just a few minutes ago, left that brush pile, went straight to the willow grass, started throwing a frog. He knows his high water could have those fish on the bank today.
Davey, real quick, granted, we've seen a lot of guys fishing brush piles where predominantly you're either throwing a jig or you're throwing a 10-inch worm. This is the lake really where the hair jig, the preacher jig, came out. You know so much about that. Bobby Paget, one of the locals, brought that to light. Why have we not seen that typical hair jig style deal happen here on Lake Eufaula this week?
Z, I think it's because so many of the guys that are fishing offshore are fishing those brush piles, and that's certainly not a good bait to throw in brush piles. There have been a few guys just fishing out on clean bottom, so to speak, where you really have to throw that hair jig, but not very many of them. There's just not many schools of fish out there. This lake has just come up every day of the event, and it's those river ledge type places just really haven't come into play. Here's one other thing though. Drew Benton's just pulling off, going down the bank and going to fish some more shallow water. Drew Benton has been in contention all week. He just hasn't had that big fish to go along with a lot of 3 and 4 pounders like we've seen Clark Winlet catch it. He said, I had a chance the last 2 days to catch a 6-pounder like I just caught, but I lost it. Now I've got a chance to catch a big one and finish out my limit. I really think I can catch those 3.5s, and I got a chance to win. So coming in today in 8th place, Drew Benton is somebody with a 6-pounder in his live well earlier this morning that we're going to certainly have to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. Well, Davey, I'm going to ask you a question. Mark Zona's expressed it based on Shane LeHugh's big catch yesterday. There's a big bag out there. There's another big bag out there. Would you agree with that? And what are the chances of that showing up at the weigh-in and sort of shaking up things?
I think we will see it. Like I said, you look at the leaderboard and you see that Drew Benton only has, and I'm not just talking about Drew Benton, it can happen with anyone, but when you see somebody has 6 pounds, but they've got 1.
Yeah.
You see a Jamie Hartman take the lead yesterday morning, and he did it again this morning, and he's just kind of where he's going to have to stay unless he would get very fortunate and catch an extremely big bag, bigger than we've seen so far. But when you see a guy that's been catching a lot of numbers and is just lost a good fish or two during the week, already put 1 big one in a boat, you certainly better keep an eye on him. But it wouldn't surprise me to see a 25, 26-pound bag here this week. There is a boat that went out of Lake Point State Park right where we took off this morning, but this is a huge lake. It's 85 miles, plenty of room to spread out.
Thank you, Davey. Setting the table there, Davey Height.
He is our Robbie Floyd today. He's going to save us.
Oh, man. He is going to help us out. Scott Canterbury hooked up. The thing about that 25-pound bag is just as likely to be caught by this guy.
Exactly.
Our thanks to Davey Height. Oh, we've been bringing it all week long.
Boy,
we lean on him.
He has covered some miles on that water,
man.
Jack.
Oh, man.
That 4? That 4? Yeah. 1.
Again, Scott Canterbury, net bait, 11-inch C-Mac worm, color red bug, plum apple, typical this time of year.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Drue Cook. Do we have a crankbait fish here?
Yeah, a big one, and I got him hooked really funny. It's a good one.
Drue Cooks fishing just outside of our takeoff in Khufu Creek. If you talk to a lot of the locals, talk to a lot of guys in this tournament, probably more of a bass population in that creek than any other creek on this lake. If you look at traditionally the history of Lake Eufaula, a lot of tournaments won right outside of the boat launch there. And the other side of it is, if you really think about it, that's the major launch on this lake. So every bass that's weighed in is let go right there.
Jimmy Hartman, another one on.
Choked it. It's not big, bro. Not big, though. All the way down in there, man.
That's the way they're supposed to bite it.
Just need them to get bigger.
Our anglers just finishing up their second hour of fishing here. Drue Cooks is hooked up again.
Might be a big there, Russ. Oh. Just hooking them funny, man. There's a big one.
Canterbury.
Stay on, baby.
Right.
Man, he
Stay on,
drills
please.
them.
That's the one. Stay on. Woo! Stay on. That's one of them anyhow.
Yes.
4-pounder. Number 5. Ain't that right? I just counted. Woo! Bassmaster fans, how you like that? How you like that, Bassmaster?
Caught a
Elite
giant
series,
yesterday
baby.
at exactly the same time. Exactly the same time of day.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed Bassmaster Live today.
It's not over.
Sorry. Good one right there for Scott Canterbury, and he has come out firing. Dude, it is awesome to be back on Championship Saturday. That absolutely gives you chills right there. Phenomenal.
They are catching them on this special day at this special place, but let's not go to the pancake house just yet. let's stick around because I have a feeling there's more to develop, more that's going to appear before our eyes during the course of
Scott
5 more
Canterbury
hours.
has done made him feel his life, my friends.
All right. Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. Scott
That's what we
Canterbury
can do
on
when we're
top
not
of
on ESPN, too, Tommy Chandler.
Yes. Limit. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Bassmaster.
Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Your time on the water is precious.
You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
A good Saturday to you. It is a good Saturday here. We got championship bass fishing, the best in the business, going at it. It's been a great 3 days. Here on Lake Eufaula has been spectacular, but today we're down to 10 anglers, and today is the day when they hand out the hardware. So it gets just a little bit more action-packed, a little bit more drama afoot on this final day, and we've got 5 more hours of Bassmaster Live to bring you. Of course, we've got our noon break, our midday break when we step aside, and we'll come back at noon Eastern time for the final 3 hours of the action today. Heading you all the way up to the weigh-in. Dave Mercer will crown a champion.
Well, he's done a great job this week.
Absolutely.
Trip Weldon.
They had to adapt in many different ways, as you can imagine, and it's been great. It's been fun to watch.
I made the comment yesterday, I loved the distancing on the weigh-in stage and wondered if they'll continue it that way.
Maybe so. Fast start every day for this guy, Chris Eldane, who had to fish his way back into the top 10 yesterday just to have a chance at today, and his big fish reputation is another element you throw into the pot as we stir it up today on the final championship day. What is he going to do? Could it be something like 3 or 4 of these? That would make a big difference in this tournament.
You know, he's had one just magical offshore spot. More of a traditional ledge style deal, not a lot of timber.
Quarantine is over and we're catching giants out here on Lake Eufaula. Bassmaster Live, ESPN2. I see you. Stay on there. Yeah! Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! That's a big old Eufaula bass right there. Get out of that trolling.
This was actually earlier today with Chris Eldane.
Oh, it's a bass. Big bass. Oh, come here. No, come here. Whoa, swim towards me. Yes. That's number 1. Had him hooked weird.
That is a legal catch in
Number 1, it's a good one.
Bassmaster rules.
Long and skinny.
As long as you're not purposely sight fishing.
Correct.
Hooking a bait, hooking a fish in 20 feet of water. Not
just
in
like
the mouth is
like
innocent.
a jerk bait or a crankbait.
Exactly.
This time of year, as long as you're not visually sight fishing for that bass, legal catch.
Yeah, so it's about 7:45 here. I got one nice one in the live well. I caught it on my main spot on a spoon this morning. Mixed it up, did some frog stuff for about the last 30 minutes, but you know, really, I need a big bag today, 22, 23 pounds to have a shot, and this lake has been pounded on for 20 days straight, tournament after tournament. I thought we were gonna have a break today, but there's another 100 tournament on the lake, so I'm idling around, man. I'm staring at my hummingbirds here, and I'm just graphing over some of the not so obvious stuff, rounded points close to the main channel. It's been 7 whole days since the first day of practice. A lot has happened in 7 days, so I'm looking for fresh schools of fish. That's the only way I'm gonna give myself a chance to really do well here. So I'm gonna keep checking the main area. I'm gonna keep checking my frog pattern I found yesterday, but really, I'm gonna just let the magic happen. You know, I'm not gonna force it and try to make it happen. If it happens, it happens. So we're going for the win, no doubt today.
Here's Eldane, who now makes his home in Fort Worth, which is incidentally would be the site of the World Championship, the Classic next year.
Hey, that is something you really don't see on the final day of a tournament.
Let this east wind kind of fish the windy side here.
Predominantly, guys today on the final day of a Bassmaster tournament are fishing the areas that have got them to this day. To know that you have to find something new with all the pressure this lake has received, that is stuff we do not see very often.
Well, that is a fat, stubby one.
Khufu.
Look at that thing.
He's gonna be somebody one day.
Man. He won't even go 14 inches, I don't think. I don't think. Look at that. That's not even a 14-inch fish. That was a weird looking bass. Something wrong with him.
Buddy Gross making a move with a 5-pounder. He's got 2 fish on the day.
All right. Caleb Khufu currently in 4th place right now, trying to upgrade. He's had his limit. We saw him about 20 minutes ago, rather, fill out his limit. Spent a lot of time yesterday with Matt Airy, who happens to be the roommate of our leader, Scott Canterbury. Catching him steady all day long, just didn't have any giants out here. Had some fun, though.
My horn. Scared me to death.
Scaring the fire out of himself.
Leaned on my horn, I thought the fish was gonna eat me. You want a little horn again? That sucker's loud, ain't it?
It is a loud horn.
Having a honking good time out there. Hoping to do more today. Maybe the size will go up for Matt Airy today. He's good at locating them, that's for sure.
Well, it's been slow, real slow. We had one big bite, lost it, and then we caught one little small keeper, and that's the only 2 bites we've had so far. We're starting to run some new water, keep exploring, running some new water willow here that I just thought looked good, had some good depth out in front of it, so we're gonna run it and see if we can't connect with a couple of them 5 or 6 pounders, because that's what we're gonna need today. You know, there's kind of some ways you can go around and peck and pick up a limit here and there, but this frog is going to be the way, you know, to catch a great big one. I am going to hit some brush piles here in a little bit, because there's been some good quality fish in the brush, obviously. I know that's what Canterbury's doing. He's my roommate, so majority of his weight's coming out of brush, and we will run some of that here in a little bit. Hope to pick up a few. But thought this grass looked really good, so we were going to come in here and run it.
Somewhere, Brian Thrift is in this country, wonderful fisherman, great friend of ours, is screaming at Matt Arey right now. And Matt Arey knows that. Jamie Hartman hooked up.
Dang, he's just tough, I think. I don't think he's big, he's just tough.
Keeper fish right
like
there.
I said, he's just tough.
Jamie Hartman. The reason I say that is Matt Arey made the comment, I know not to fish shallow here. I've fished shallow here so many times before. I know to fish brush piles, just like Canterbury, just like Brian Thrift has done here in victories past. And he said, the first thing I did when I saw the water was high, I absolutely went shallow and did that almost the whole tournament.
Decisions.
It's been a lure for all of these anglers, some of them more successful than others at resisting the temptation to go shallow. Jamie Hartman, he sticks to his guns all morning long and usually stretches this spot out about an hour after he says it's done for that play today. So we'll look for him to land a few more in that particular situation. Doing too bad right now. Boy, Scott Canterbury's got a hold of the control panel right
really
now.
Does.
And he is running the show. That is for sure, and it's going to be hard. A big order for anyone to unseat Scott Canterbury from here on out from that top spot. Plenty more Bassmaster Live on the way. We'll take ourselves just a quick break right now and be back to Lake Eufaula on Bassmaster
Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new Tour Grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
Skeeter, is it still setting the standard? Let's see. First Bass Boat, first U.S. Coast Guard approved Bass Boat, first VHO pad design, largest owners tournament, great fish and win program, first sponsored whole capacity concept, first production composite bass boat. Yeah, way too much for 30 seconds. And 18 consecutive CSI awards. Now we have introduced the FX Apex series, a fully featured boat with so many standard options, leaving nothing left to desire. So yes, we are still setting the standard. Skeeter.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
You're watching the DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Fort Worth, Texas. Big city, little city feel. Gateway to the west on the old Chisholm Trail. And Lake Ray Roberts. Those are two combinations, or our combination, that is going to be the Bassmaster Classic, the World Championship for 2021. Just announced about 3-4 weeks ago. very, very popular decision. Never been in Fort Worth. It's only been in Texas twice before, Mark Zona. And we're going to a fishery that's going to be predictably pretty good that time of year.
And interestingly enough, every promo that you've done for that this week, I have liked your tone. I think you are happy that we're going there.
Oh, I love Fort Worth. Love Fort Worth. Great,
good food.
Great place. Good food, man. It's a great spot where it's going to be. Brand new arena there, and with lots of parking. I mean, it's right there in the university area, and it's fantastic.
Do you know the hot spots there?
I know the hot
You
spots
do,
there. I
don't
sure
you?
do. Yeah. The fun spots. Scott Canterbury has been the big dog on Lake Eufaula all week long, pretty much.
All morning long.
And all morning long, he is just adding to it. He is piling on. Got about between a 6 and 7 pound lead over the rest of the field. There's your TH Marine weather watch for today, high of 88. We've got more clouds today. We've got the wind coming from a different direction right now. It's not very much of it. There's seemed to be a little more of it in some places. It was laid down pretty well yesterday. So it might pick up, but predicted to be that much of it today. There's no telling what's going to happen to Scott Canterbury. Very much in control right now. We always do our best to manufacture some drama where none exists.
We try.
We'll be, full disclosure, we'll be trying that again today.
We're not good at it. We're not good at this, to be honest with you.
No.
Is it too early?
For what?
I don't know that we've ever done it this early on a championship final day. Yeah. Can somebody, Maestro, ring up the music? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Why not? Why not?
Throwback.
You know what? Listen,
Throwback Saturday.
It's been an odd season on the Bassmaster Elite Series. It's been an odd year for everybody. So why don't we break out of our own comfort zone?
Okay.
Hey, Scott Canterbury. We followed you basically every single day in the 2019 Bassmaster Elite Series season. We saw you host the Angler of the Year trophy. One thing you didn't hoist. See? I use words that don't even fit.
That's perfect.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yes, they do, Tommy Sanders. Hey, Scott Canterbury, it is so early in the day. That's right. Fist bump to you. You are already this early on a championship day in the Bassmaster Elite Series. Ronnie, one more time. Nailed it. You're the power pole replay of the day, Scott Canterbury. And it looks like it's probably going to hold that way the rest of the day, my friend. Replay of the day.
Very nice. Boy, when you can notch a power pole replay of the day this early.
I don't think we've ever done that.
Hey, Z,
yes,
if I get any emails from upper management, will you handle those for me since you made me sing right there?
I did not make you do a thing.
Coerced.
It's good to be back, though.
It is. That felt right. With all the things going on in the world, that felt right.
Majority of the brush that Scott Canterbury's fished all week long is net bait 11-inch C-Mac worm. Said it was predominantly about 9 to 16 feet of water.
We have said the word brush pile about 100 times more than we usually do, and Drue Cook laid out why that is. There's that attraction to the bank. The fish are caught in between. Normally they'd be further sort of entrenched on the ledges right now. But we look at the 10 that we've got. Do they have a skill set with brush piles that's maybe a little bit more advanced than the rest of the field? Is that why they're here?
You know what? I'm actually going to go back to the name that I said earlier, and he's not in this tournament. I'm going to go back to Brian Thrift. Brian Thrift has dominated on this lake, and there's a lot of guys in this tournament that fished against him in years past in FLW events. Clark Wendelin's one of the guys that said, Brian showed us really how to do it on this lake. And it's that law of average of just not marinating yourself on one brush pile for a consumed amount of time. It's fishing as many as possible, making 5 to 8 casts, moving on, and by the end of the day, you grow into a big stringer. And it's almost, it's what you...
One more with that worm, and then we're going to pick the drop shot up, I think.
It's attacking this lake.
It's a mindset more than a skill set.
Absolutely right. It's taking 100 swings in a batting cage and hoping to hit 5 home runs. Guys like Jamie Hartman, traditionally, this time of year, they should be out of that brush. They should be out on the river ledge on a little bit cleaner bottom. But with that high water, with a lot of the pressure that has been on this lake, breaking up those traditional ledge schools, it's been a dominant brush pile event. And you know what? And actually, this is the home of Humminbird, and a big thanks to the folks at Humminbird, Mark Gibson, for sending us all the images showing that was some of the best stuff that we did on ESPN. Well, not that we do anything the best. Some of the decent stuff that we did.
There's just a few things, but we just can't think of them right now.
I haven't heard a better Powerball replay of the day singer, but whatever.
Scott Canterbury, and a man in the catbird seat. He's leading the tournament, leading angler of the year. Let's take a look at our Bassmaster Rookie of the Year standings. We have had a shakeup there. That took place yesterday. Kyle Welcher had a bit of an off day. Buddy Gross did great work getting himself into the top 10, and as a result, he enjoys a 3-point lead in the Bassmaster Rookie of the Year standings. And Buddy Gross, first year we've had Buddy's called a rookie, but he's not in reality a rookie in the sport of fishing. And we got a B&W trailer hitches on the line, set up right now with Buddy Gross. Buddy, hope you're doing well this morning. Tell us kind of how it's gone on this very important day.
Well, we was running a bunch of new stuff this morning. I think I've been fishing out too deep. I run some stuff in the 12, 15-foot range this morning thinking I might get a big one, and I scrapped that idea and went shallow just a second ago, and we did catch a big one in about 6 feet. So I think I'm maybe heading in the right direction anyway.
Buddy, real quick, so many guys fishing different baits out deeper this week. You said you made a key change yesterday. Can you tell the folks watching here on Bassmaster.com, what was that bait switch?
That's it. For whatever reason, I threw worms, I threw my swim bait, and my swim baits are still playing, but there's just, the jig gets bit consistently way more than anything else I've thrown. For some reason, they switched over to the jig, and I don't know if the crawfish are doing their smelting, molting, whatever it is, but I'm telling you, they love it. If it gets in front of one, I get bit.
Great tournament this week, Buddy. And, you know, of course, we are not going to be visiting your actual home lake. We were scheduled to have been there and gone already. We'll be going back in the fall now. How's it going to be different than what we see here?
I think it's, the lake will be on a drawdown when we get there, but if we have a hot, dry summer, it's going to be great for everybody. The grass will play, but bait's going to be a big role. It's going to be a great tournament. There's still a lot of big ones up there swimming around, and the good thing about October, too, is a lot of people start deer hunting, so the lake will be less crowded.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on this tournament. Congratulations on making the move that you think might make a difference today.
Going to put a dent into my deer hunting.
Yeah, and everyone else's, too. I mean, that's
I'll get mine, friend.
That's the second most popular pursuit among these anglers. How about some bass trivia? How many of Bassmaster's top 10 best bass lakes in 2019 are on the schedule? Albeit revised, it's still the same lake lineup, more or less. There are 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, or 6 of them out of the 10 best.
Start thinking.
All right. Yeah, we're going to come back and give you the answer momentarily.
Bassmaster Live.
Yes, thanks.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
The season is starting and it's time for you to bring it. Pit your knowledge against friends and fans everywhere in Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. It's free and it starts by signing up. Then pick your 5-angler team for each event. Grand prize winner gets a Bass Pro Shop shopping spree, cash, and Rapala prize pack. Plus new opportunities including $4,000 worth of prizes for each individual event winner. Plus another $500 if you're a Bass member. Total value for the season is $90,000. Sign up today and start bringing it at BassmasterFantasy.com.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
Bassmaster Sweepstakes prizes are crazy good, and you'd be crazy not to enter.
Yeah, baby!
Enter now to win a fishing trip with 50th Bassmaster Classic champion Hank Cherry. Trip includes airfare, rental car, hotel, and $500 cash, plus a Bass Cat Sabre FTD with Mercury 150 Pro XS Garmin electronics, and an amazing prize pack. Total value more than $50,000. There's a 100% chance you won't win if you don't enter. Go to Bassmaster.com and up the odds in your favor. It's fast and easy, and who knows, you could win.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
We are already into the third hour of fishing, the 8 hours of fishing on this final championship Saturday, second stop of the year for the Bassmaster Elite Series. We left you with some trivia, sort of spawned by talking to Buddy Gross about his home lake, Chickamauga there. How many of Bassmaster's top 10 best bass lakes in 2019 are on our schedule, our 2020 schedule for the Elite Series? Z, you want to take a guess?
Maybe I'm crazy, but I think this is an easy one, and I'm going to go, just because the schedule this year is absolutely outrageously incredible, I'm going to go with the obvious, being 6.
I'm going to go one lower. I'll say 5.
I was going to say 5 as well.
All right, let's...
well,
there you go.
What a joke.
We had Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Shane LaHue jumped in and guessed 6 as well because he can't count, he said.
How is Rayburn and Gunners, is this James Hall's work right here?
Every year. Of course it is. Every year. And look at that. We got 5 of them there. Absolutely legit. 100% right. Sure can't argue with that list. That's for sure. Those are great lakes.
I didn't know that was on there.
What's that?
Numelones.
Numelones, sure.
Good stuff right there. Bassmaster Top 10 Best Bass Lakes 2019. Back out on the water, Bassmaster Live.
Scott Canterbury, your leader. Big lead right now. Still the first half of the day, and it'll be hard to unseat this fellow.
Like maybe we could show that worm. We actually got a photo of the worm that he's thrown all week.
Might be in the screen of knowledge soon.
Uh-oh. Scott sent it to us last night. See, and he's doing a little work today with the jig.
What would you be fishing those brush piles with?
I don't know. Seeing 90% have come on a 10-inch worm, I'd go with that. Yes, sir.
It's fun. It's fun to do that.
Said, just got word the 2020 best bass lakes in the country coming in 2 weeks.
Boy, James Hall and I have butted heads on that top 10 every year. We really have.
Which one you think's left off there that should be on there? We only showed the 10.
Or methodology. What is that? What you're?
Boy, it is hard not putting Rayburn.
It was in there.
Oh, he is spot on. He is spot on.
It was obviously it was highlighted. It was even highlighted, in fact.
Hey.
Or are you mad that Rayburn's not on our schedule?
I
Is that
just
the
like
one?
butting heads with James Hall on the top 10 lakes.
Yeah. I mean, how
To
do
you, Ron, what's the glaring omission? What's not in that list that we just saw there that should be in there?
St. Clair?
St. Clair.
Or was that on there?
It doesn't need to be on there.
That's
See,
one of our
did I
lakes.
even look at the screen? See, I don't even know.
Gunnersville, Sam Rayburn, Clear Lake, Lake Fork, Chickamauga, New Melones, St. Clair, Santee Cooper, and Lake Erie. What's not on there?
No St. John's?
No St. John's. That's what popped in my head.
Or in Ontario?
That's what I was thinking. Might ought to be in there.
Okefenokee.
What? There's
a
no Lake
swamp in Florida.
Okefenokee.
There's a swamp in Florida.
I've been talking about anticipating a rather large local tournament going out today. And
Yeah.
the later report said maybe it wouldn't be quite as big as we thought it was going to be.
We had thought that it was going to be huge. Actually, talking to a couple of locals, I think it was somewhere, at least registered boats, it was 55 to 70 boats.
We have 10 out there today from our original 86.
And you got a pretty good feeling that Scott Canterbury's not done swatting on him today. He's gonna pile it on a little bit.
All right.
Wanted to bring it back into studio real quick. We were just talking about the different lures that have played and the different bags of the week and whatnot. I want to hit some stats and show you guys. Hey, we only had 40 anglers fishing on day 3 of competition. We cut it from 88 or the full field, which was like 86 this week, down to 40. And we still had 3 of the biggest 10 bags of the week caught yesterday. The second biggest bag, the 5th and 6th biggest bags. And what's crazy is Shane LeHugh's 23-1 could have been even higher. Not only did he have a 2-pound culling penalty, he did have one fish pass away. It would have been a 25-5 bag. So you were saying, Z, somebody's going to catch a high 20s bag or a mid 20s bag. Possibly, it's still out there today that they could catch. And then when we go over to the other stats, Shane LeHugh also missed out on Big Bass of the tournament. That's 7-4 that he had, 1 ounce shy of taking that award over. The big bag was him as well. He just missed the cut in 11th. And we had 5 20-pound bags, 39 limits on the day out of 40 possible anglers. And that brings us to also the key baits that played. And we've talked about a couple different approaches on these brush piles. And this is Scott Canterbury's 11-inch C-Mac worm in that red bug color. You know, those you said red seemingly this time of the year, the plums, those flakes with red in them often do well. And then also we have Caleb Khuffu's homemade jig. He actually spends a lot of time making his own baits, and this homemade jig is paying off for him big time. Just doing a trailer, just
Lure
a chunk
Parts
trailer.
Online trailer. Lure Parts Online trailer.
Flipping it around grass and whatnot. So it's been interesting. A couple different baits in play this week, but they're all producing big bass, whether they're shallow or on those brush piles deep.
Great job. Visually,
yes.
Visually terrific there, Ronnie Moore. Oh, can we just call that? I'll just call that our AFCO Taste the Bait. That was excellent.
That was, yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Very nice. Very nice.
Hopefully we'll get some more breakdown from the guys themselves about why they selected those.
Still with Scott Canterbury here, our leader.
Eufaula has long been connected with the worm. Starting with Tom Mann.
Jelly worm,
the jelly worm,
right?
Yeah, made
Jelly
it there,
worm.
yeah.
Little George, tail spinner.
Produced that too.
You know, I fished Eufaula in my late teens and got to meet
Yeah,
Tom
I've been
Mann.
throwing
Awesome.
big 11-inch C-Mac from NetBait. You know, I mean, I know that I used to come down here as a kid
and we didn't fish brush piles then. I don't think people put them out, but we threw a big worm. That's what we fished. Eufaula is notorious in the summertime. They fish like a big worm, and that worm is just bigger and bulkier than like other brands, and it just got a lot of action with the tail. Been throwing 2 different ones. I got a plum apple on one that I caught my big ones on yesterday, and then I got a red bug on another one. They're real close, and I don't know that it makes a difference, but I like to show them both, and I show them a jig. But you know, it's the key is, you know, being able to hit your targets. If I'm fishing a brush pile, I can see it on that live site with the Lowrance, throw straight into it, hit it. So I mean, you don't have to worry about it. Fishing 15-pound P-line, tactical fluorocarbon on a Scott Canterbury Signature Series rod. It's a 7.6 that we designed for with Halo. We designed that rod for throwing a swim jig, but it's perfect for throwing a big worm or a swim bait out deep, and just a real versatile rod. That's what I've been doing pretty much all week. Got my weights pegged, so I usually don't peg at Texas rigging, but if you're fishing brush piles, I like to. So wherever your weight goes, your worm goes. It follows it. If weight falls on one side of the limb, the worm, it will too. So that's what I've been doing. Ardent Grand Reels. Like I said, been spraying my bait with Strike Force. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it's really good product. I've been using it for years now, so that's all I'm doing, and sort of sticking to it. I have went shallow this week, but this has been my primary deal for sure.
Match your weight color with your worm color?
I did. I don't know that matters. I may get fired. I'm with Titan Tungsten, and I love their weights because it's stamped on it, but they don't have painted weights or colored weights, and I'm using a red weight on my weights. I don't know that it matters, but it's a confidence thing.
Might just be part of looking good.
It's like you get towards that 8 o'clock hour, and man, it is tough to get bit. They shut right down, and I try to pick one off here or there. I know they're still here. Like just a few minutes ago, I was working this drop shot, and one just popped it one time, and he's not, you know, they didn't eat it. So I don't know what it is. Either they stopped drawing water, or it's just that, you know, that morning bite is over. And I'm very, very shocked I can't pick this drop shot up and catch a bunch more, because, man, I can do this about anywhere I go. I can pick this drop shot up and catch them when they're slowing down. But this ain't the case here, man. When they shut off here, they're shutting off. And then it's a guessing game and trying to figure out what to do next. And I may have to come back here in the afternoon. I haven't come back at all either days. So the mid-afternoon bite might be crazy here again. I'm not sure. That's kind of when I found them anyways, but I haven't had to use them again. We may come back today, but we're gonna run around a lot of brush piles and a couple different things and see if we can get some big ones. We did yesterday, so. Yo.
Well, you think he's happy where we're headed next?
Yeah. Cited one of his victories last year.
No, I mean just the whole entire state.
Oh, well, yeah, he's a New York guy, although you wouldn't know it from listening to it. He's adopted the Russellville accent.
I noticed that.
Very quickly.
I noticed that this morning.
Yes, yes.
What are you saying, Tommy?
Dadgummit.
I'm saying when in Rome, baby. That's what I'm saying. Jamie Hart currently tied with Drue Cooks in second place right there, but both of them 6 pounds, 10 ounces behind our leader, Scott Canterbury. Scott Canterbury absolutely getting the job done today. There's no reason to expect he won't continue to do that, but we're going to watch because you just never know on Bassmaster Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
the trail gets rough and the mud gets deep, you'll find a Toyota Tacoma. It's the best-selling compact pickup in America for 12 years, and it's not because we baby them. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories, fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Well, we're going to have the second event of the season, regular season event for the Bassmaster Elite Series under our belt at the end of the weigh-in today. Moving on to the third one, just about a month's time, headed to the Finger Lakes region, upstate New York, natural lake called Lake Cayuga. Is it the best of the Finger Lakes?
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
I mean, there's some other pretty awesome Finger Lakes. I think I've been on, probably 2 or 3 other ones. But Cayuga, as far as all around largemouth and smallmouth and big smallmouth, I would say Cayuga's, especially if you go off of years past and weights in tournaments.
The very next week, the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite from the St. Lawrence River. We know how amazing that is. Just kicks out the smallmouth like nobody's business. It's always a sort of a festival of smallmouth catching for sure. And then the very next week, we went over to the border, New York, Vermont, Lake Champlain. Jamie Hartman, a guy who's, as you say, licking his lips, can't wait to get up there. But he has been no slouch here this week. Completely different situation on Lake Eufaula. He's a versatile guy.
There's another really good Finger Lake, Cayuga.
Cayuga, not Cayuga.
Great.
I don't want to go and graft the darn thing with the big motor just yet, but
Hartman, as we mentioned, lives in Arkansas now, but the Alabama-New York connection was big time for him last year, and we've mentioned that as well. It's a year ago on Lake Guntersville, legendary Guntersville, a place that's well known.
2 things, actually. We got to cover this tournament together, and one of those deals on the final day of the tournament, we really weren't looking at Jamie Hartman, and he just quietly got into our top 10, and on the last day, literally just landed on the mother lode. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was a violent weigh-in.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't it?
Weather. I mean, the weather
was unbelievable.
The bottom
how
dropped
bad
out. He really
it,
didn't get to get his full measure of crowd appreciation because the crowd was running for their lives basically. In order to avoid being blown into the next county. But he got to celebrate when we went to Lake Cayuga.
Yep, big win right there. And that was a unbelievable largemouth tournament. You saw guys like Jacobson, Chris Eldane give it a run with some mixed-in smallmouth, but it was a largemouth beatdown on the north end of Cayuga Lake.
Brandon Cobb, the other angler who won 2 events out of our Total of 9 regular season events last year. He's out of our range for live, but we just got a piece of tape fed into us. This is moments ago.
I don't know. It's not tiny, but it's not huge, I think. 3-pounder maybe. Don't do that. Come there. Gotcha. Not a bad one. For number 2, we ain't gotta catch many if they're all that size or bigger.
Got a hair jig. Oh no, swim jig. Yeah, that's
See what he weighs. Pin him for number 2. Skinny out here in the brush. So kind of strange, the ledge fish seem to be thick and the brush fish seem to be skinny. I'm saying he's 3-4. And way underjudged him.
There, now he's got a little back in range now.
Been running some ledges. I've seen a few fish on the ledges. That's where I've kind of caught most of my morning fish. Morning's been slow, but I've caught a few off ledges, and there's a couple fish on them, but they hadn't really pulled up. It's kind of strange. I'll idle one place 3 or 4 times, and then just randomly there'll be no fish, and then I'll idle and there'll be 20 on it. So it's kind of one of those things that you just got to keep checking places. It's been slow in the morning. It's about as expected. I'm just running some stuff now and gonna run back through the brush kind of in the middle of the day. You got to hit it at the right window. So I'm just kind of biding my time till it gets when I think's right for it. So we're about to make a run. I ran through most of it early, but I've done the same thing every day and it hasn't worked yet. So apparently I haven't learned. I'm gonna run back through it once the sun gets up good and they set it up on the brush. Kind of gone as expected. I mean, I don't have anything good yet, but that's about the way it's been every day.
We were with Brandon Cobb yesterday afternoon. Had a little phone call with him there. And during the course of the phone call, he went on, the afternoon is big time for him. He went on a run.
No. Just going to say that's where he caught 3 big ones yesterday right there.
That one's going to hurt. Came at me with his mouth wide open. Just pulled out. Golly.
Well, you're right. We watched him work this spot over yesterday. He moves about 1 foot every 20 minutes.
Caught some really big ones on the outside of that grass yesterday.
Oh, your dog.
Then I got one.
That's a good one.
Gone more than a half hour without a fish coming across Bass Track.
You got a big old gator over there sitting on that slab.
You ever seen one of those things run?
No.
It is, isn't it?
Really?
They were like a greyhound. If
Really?
You get around one of their nests and they're out poking around near the shoreline. They see you there. Oh my goodness! I've had it happen one time, and
really,
it will put the fear of God into you.
I'd love to see an alligator chase you.
Oh, did you? I bet you would.
Did you
That'd be
zigzag,
awesome.
Tommy?
What?
Did you zigzag?
Well, yes. Just about climbed a tree.
They say, I don't know if it's a myth or not, they say if you zigzag, gators can't run as quickly in different directions. They can go faster straight ahead, but if you go to the left and right and go back and forth, they can't.
I think that's bullets, right?
That's good
They have
info,
no
but-
shake and bake.
Such, I'm going to take you to Florida, and I'm going to see if you can zigzag a gator.
They don't seem to go very far. So if you get away, straight line out of there. You can just imagine Will Ferrell zigging, 4 feet directly right, left, and the gator catching him.
That was a big miss from Caleb.
Oh
Hufall.
yeah,
Big,
that was
big
unfortunate, very unfortunate. One of his prime spots, obviously, as you pointed out right there. Guanago, Wisconsin.
Is that it?
Nice.
Very well done.
First time ever.
Very well done.
I'm gonna
You ever had a Danish Kringle from up there?
No, I've not
Oh, it's
had-
one of the staples
Oh,
of
no
that
kidding.
area. Absolutely.
The Danish Kringle.
Danish Kringle.
From the Mississippi
I'm
River
not
in
saying that
Wisconsin.
jokingly.
So they don't live by cheese curds
They
alone.
are a delight with coffee.
Well, it has been a delight this morning so far. Having a little bit of a slow time there. It seems everything shuts down at once, and then it'll pick back up all over the lake. It'll happen sooner rather than later. Scott Canterbury still with that massive lead there. 6 pounds and 10 ounces ahead of Drue Cooks machine. Hartman, Khufu had a chance to change that. Lost a big opportunity. As you said, things are happening, and they will continue to do so. We'll take a quick break. Right back on Bassmaster.
Danish Kringle.
What?
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Son gets it done. Jordan Lee back-to-back domination. Unbelievable.
Skeeter, is it still setting the standard? Let's see. First bass boat, first U.S. Coast Guard approved bass boat, first V-hull pad design, largest owners tournament, great fish and win program, first sponsored whole capacity concept, first production composite bass boat. Yeah, way too much for 30 seconds. And 18 consecutive CSI awards. Now we have introduced the FX Apex series, a fully featured boat with so many standard options, leaving nothing left to desire. So yes, we are still setting the standard. Skeeter.
The season is starting and it's time for you to bring it. Pit your knowledge against friends and fans everywhere in Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. It's free and it starts by signing up. Then pick your 5-angler team for each event. Grand prize winner gets a Bass Pro Shop shopping spree, cash, and Rapala prize pack. Plus new opportunities including $4,000 worth of prizes for each individual event winner. Plus another $500 if you're a Bass member. Total value for the season is $90,000. Sign up today and start bringing it at BassmasterFantasy.com.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is brought to you by Humminbird, Mercury, Minn Kota, and by Talon.
Word iconic's one of those overused words for sure, but Lake Eufaula is certainly an iconic place for bass fishing. And so much history, including this outstanding provider to the fishing world of electronics.
Yes.
Humminbird had its start there and still a huge presence there in our host city of Eufaula, Alabama, going all the way back to the Tom Mann days. Just so much technology has been born there and throughout that whole industry, which gives fishermen a greater opportunity to do stuff like fish brush piles.
Amazing things come out of that building, no doubt about it. A lot of stuff that we've got to take a look at this week here on Lake Eufaula. Back out to the water right now, Chris Zaldane live.
It's a lot of boat traffic out here today, man. You gotta be sneaky somehow. Gotta be real precise with your brush piles. Look at that, man. I'm on the roadbed right now. I mean, look at all those boats down there. All right, let's make a move.
One good one in the boat right now for Chris Eldane. He's on his
Get out of that trolling motor, whatever you are.
big Magnum flutter spoon earlier today. A lot of his big fish this tournament have come on that bait early in the day. This one swiped at it.
That's a bass, big bass. Oh, come here, no, come here. Whoa, swim towards me.
Again, that's actually a legal catch per Bassmaster rules if you're not visibly sight fishing for a bass.
That's number one. Had him hooked weird.
He called it a 3.5. We don't seem any of us
Since
to agree.
disproved that, yes. Yeah, we've definitely disproved that.
Number one, it's a good one. 3-pounder. Long and skinny.
Half his leg.
The long and skinny ones weigh more than you think. I think Scott Canterbury proved that yesterday.
You know, and really, if you watch Zaldane's tournament, again, he had a horsehead spot. I mean, as far as caught big ones almost every single day on that shell bar. He called a feeding spot. It was, more of a traditional ledge style deal. The one thing that we've not seen Chris Eldane do a lot of in this tournament, we saw him maximize that spot. We've seen him fish shallow, do well shallow, but he's one of those anglers that did not fish a lot of brush piles like this guy.
I think he come off.
Matt Airy.
God, no, he's still on there. I can feel him. I got him hung in the brush. He was on there. There it comes. I mean, really? On a worm about twice the size of him. It's not a shell cracker. I'd have bet that was a big one the way he hit it too. Well, that sucked. I just had to run all over the brush pile to get a 10-incher out on a monster worm.
Buddy Gross making a little move. He caught 2 more fish. He's up to 5th place.
Oh, that boy's got one too.
Uh-oh.
Now the other boy's got one, doesn't he?
I mean, Dacom Alabama stud.
Oof.
Oh my goodness.
Keeper.
Pumped, bringing it on back. Look.
Stay composed. Stay composed. Oh, he's looking too, though. He's peeking over. He knows they're watching.
Oh, he broke off and.
That's the one we mean.
It's a benefit tournament, I think, the Alabama Children's Classic Bass Tournament.
Did you see the partner compose himself?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's an unofficial power pole replay of the day. The composing after netting the fish.
It's one of those ones where you're like, man, I hope no one's watching, except you keep peeking, hoping that they're watching, and that's exactly.
I want to see a replay of that.
They know what's going on.
Well, the dude was pumped. A lot of traffic out there today.
We'll see that post on Facebook later.
We're most appreciative of the traffic provided by this man right here, Davey Hite. A lot of boat traffic we've been seeing. And we just saw a couple of guys just enter the tournament and catch a giant right there. Davey Hite, unauthorized big catch just right down from Matt Airy. So, yeah, they're biting somewhere. We're sure. How are they doing where you are?
Well, oh my God!
Oh no! What's up? Bringing it. Scared me.
Working just like Matt Airy. So, pressure is definitely what I want to talk about. There's a 75 boat tournament went out of Lake Point State Park, right where the elite's been going out of all week. And this is a huge lake, and there's tournaments here every weekend, almost 52 weeks a year probably, and then some tournaments during the week. But I've been with Drew Benton for the last 30, 45 minutes, I guess, maybe a little longer. And 4 of the last 6 brush piles, that's all he's doing right now. He fished shallow a little bit after he caught that 6-pounder, but he's fished 6 brush piles in a row. And 4 of the 6 brush piles, he had bites, but could not hook them. They're just slapping at the bait, he said, or just nudging the bait. And it's probably several things, definitely some pressure, but just no current pulling. Typically this time of year, you catch a lot of those fish more offshore on ledges, river channel ledges, that sort of thing. But a lot of these fish are in these brush piles because of the high water, and it's just incredible how many people are fishing the same brush piles. I was with Drew Benton earlier, saw Scott Canterbury catch a fish a few hundred yards away. Drew didn't see it, but Drew just fished that same brush pile. Only 10 anglers out here now, but Buddy Gross, Drew Benton and Scott Canterbury, I've seen all fish some of the same brush piles. Clark Willett, I know, is fishing in this area, fishing brush piles, basically only the brush piles, but a lot of pressure, and then that current not moving is certainly kind of slow things down right now.
Davey, my friend, explain if you can, this is really a lot shallower brush piles than usual that we see on the Bassmaster Elite Series for somebody that's just joining us here on Championship Saturday.
Yeah, it definitely is. The guys that there's brush piles from extremely shallow up in 3 or 4 feet of water all the way out to 20. I've marked some, but the ones that Drew Benton, Scott Canterbury, Clark Willett, the guys that have really done well this week are in that 7 to 12, 13 foot range, which is extremely shallow for this time of year on Lake Gunnersville. But it's the high stained water. We've had high water all year here, and certainly this is the highest it's been all week, and it just, those fish don't really want to move out because they're not pulling that water, and we've got that high stained water. It's typical. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen somebody catch a big one or two shallow this morning. That has kind of played out a little bit, but Bill Owen, the first day had the lead with 22 pounds up shallow. But those fish, it's just like they know that they're supposed to be migrating out, and I think shad and the bait fish are migrating out, but they're not going all the way out. These stopping points are these brush piles for these fish. There are bluegill around the bank, and the mayfly hatch has helped that, the shallow bite a little bit, but the shad is what these fish really key on this time of year, and those shad aren't around the bank, but they're not out there on that river channel either.
And really the brush piles that these guys are fishing are up on that very expansive flat on Lake Eufaula. They're not on massive contours. It's almost just like a sand desert out there for miles, and then boom, there's just a row of brush piles.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's just big, expansive flats where most of these better brush piles seem to be, and there'll be a group of those brush piles around. I've seen a few pontoons. The guys have rigs to put out brush piles here on this lake. They put out 50 a year, one individual. My son talked to a guy just 2 days ago that said he's got a pontoon made especially for the brush piles. He puts out 50 a year. That's just one fisherman here. And there are hundreds and hundreds of people that fish Lake Eufaula, 50 times a year. So just think about if 400, 500, 600 brush piles are being put in this lake every year, there's a lot of brush. But the best ones are the ones, like you said, Z, on these flats where these fish are kind of roaming around. When that water pulls more, I think these fish will move out on the river channel edge, but it's not going to happen today. It's not going to be in this tournament.
All right, Davey, good stuff. Some Brush Pile 101 from Davey Hite right there.
I got to do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Tommy Sanders, that footage, the other tournament going on out on Lake Eufaula right now. Look,
oh, my God.
And that we do not have confirmation. That is D. Wayne from Alabama. But here's what's interesting.
No,
you'll see the partner collect himself right here. The reason why we have found out from cameraman Eric Kafka, oh, doggone it, Daggum stood, is because they had just broke one off the cast before. D. Wayne from Alabama, you are our power. Wait, no.
No, it's not. No, they're just dipping into the drama here.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, though. They did put a good one in on.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
If we would have broke that one off.
Scott Canterbury, unfazed by all of it. Matt Airy probably unfazed by it all as well. Scott Canterbury still firmly in control of this tournament. On the final day, Championship Saturday, we got plenty more Bassmaster Live on the way.
You know, my partner would have caught one. If he'd have caught one, we'd have won that thing.
That's the way it goes out here in southeastern Alabama.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
I can vividly remember back when I was a kid and, searching for information. And it was so much work and it was such a struggle to get that knowledge, to get that information.
We talked about the equipment, we talked about the bait, we talked about how to pick it apart.
It's highly detailed, specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly. That's what the Bass University is all about.
In the wild, nature dictates that when it's time to eat, animals will instinctively find and devour the meal that satisfies them most. In the water, Berkeley Powerbait's scientifically proven formula triggers the natural predatory instinct in bass. Now available in a plethora of shapes, sizes, and colors. Berkeley Powerbait. Fish bite and won't let go.
You're watching the DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Oh, this freight train that is Championship Saturday is moving fast. Moving on, we're got about an hour and a quarter of Bassmaster Live time in our morning session today. Of course, we step away at 11 Eastern time, and we'll come right back at noon. Also picking up with ESPN2, according to, in addition to where you're watching right now. So everybody's going to get to join in and watch the final 3 hours of competition. Can't say what's going to happen in those final 3 hours. For now, though, it's all Scott Canterbury. He is firmly in control.
Yes, it is.
He is at the throttle and just keeps pressing down a little harder and harder with every hour.
A lot more separation in our top 10 than I thought we were going to have this final day up to now.
more than 20 pounds now.
Right.
We started with
if you
less
looked
than
at this
10.
yesterday at this time, this was a lot closer tournament than it's turned out to be today.
Yeah. 5 pounds separate at certain parts of the day
Yes.
yesterday, separating the top 10. Now it has spread out, but
I'm shocked Windlet hasn't caught one. As many as he's caught the last 3 days, like that he's still sitting on his day 3 weight.
very surprised.
to stay in this area.
Yeah,
Matt Airy.
We get a lot of bonus coverage here. Is that what you're? Here we go. Matt Airy hooked up just moments ago.
That's a keeper. Sure ain't a big one, but it's a keeper. Yeah, we happy. Keepers are good. Keepers are good. When you ain't got nothing else, keepers are good.
Now we're back alive with Matt.
Well, we've changed it up. We had to. That a lot of pressure on the bank today from all the tournaments, and we ran all the way down the lake to fish brush piles, and figured maybe I could run all the way down to the dam here, and I'm not quite at the dam, but I will be shortly, and get away from some boats. Came down here, and the very first brush pile we pulled up on, there was a boat getting ready to fish it. Real nice guys, and I asked them, I said, do y'all care if I fish that brush pile? And they said, absolutely not. You know, you got more money in it than I do. And I said, well, you always want to ask. Don't ever just cut in front of somebody. And they were real nice. They turned around, and this is karma, you know, good karma. They turned around, went to the next dock that I thought didn't even have a brush pile on it, because I scanned that dock in practice, and they doubled up on 4-pounders, landed one of them, lost the other one. And I caught a 10-incher on an 11-inch worm. But I appreciate them doing that, because kindness goes a long way in our world, especially right now.
Yeah, if you don't know what Matt's talking about, there's a big local tournament going on in the lake. Lake Eufaula right now, and I mean, they hooked up with the dead moon stood right here. Just get the net! I said get
I was really afraid one of them would get pulled in.
Watch the raw motion right here. Oh. Right here. Dude, gummit.
I love it. That is sorry. Some good stuff. We're getting 2-for-1 tournament action here for you.
It was like the clap when you don't turn a double play in baseball.
Down there, he'll bite it.
Oh, dang. Z, we actually have a D. Wayne in Alabama that tweeted, unfortunately, Z, that's not me. I don't normally fish when the pros are in town.
I understand. I understand.
At D. Wayne Ballou.
Mistaken identity. Ballou. Matt Airy there.
Pulled up on this one brush pile. Matt Airy just had to watch.
Couldn't do nothing but watch.
Yes, right. And we got another one.
No. You shattered that worm. Top dead center. That's why I throw this thing, man. It like nails them right in the roof. You want him? You want him in the boat? Sorry. Sorry, brother. Okay, okay.
Second place, Jamie Hartman, trying to do what he can to round up a few more before we get to the halfway point.
And really one of those anglers that's done, we've talked about this, he's done a lot with just a little bit in this tournament. And if you look at, you know, he's maximized really one spot, a lot like Chris Eldane. Not having 100 different spots to hit throughout the day.
Buddy Gross, up to 4th place. He caught his second fish over 4 pounds. He was 10th today. Boy, he had a good climb. Day 1, he was 43rd.
Wow.
Got the heaviest limit out there among our top 10. By a couple of ounces, a few ounces.
Definitely a guy that you thought, though, that would be there in the end on a lake like this.
I went down there the weekend before it went off limits and kind of graphed around and fine-tuned everything. He hadn't had an offshore time period in the spring, obviously. They're not out there, so he was fine-tuning everything, making sure he was good to go.
Got to see some intense ledge fishing on Lake Chickamauga a few years ago at the B.A.S.S event there.
We did.
At the community carousel that takes place out
Was it
there.
ever?
That area, now bear in mind, this fellow on the right side there is leading the tournament. Matt Airy's roommate, also Matt Airy, 4 points behind Scott Canterbury in Angler of the Year standings.
Yes.
So you sort of fantasize about a confrontation on Lake Fork at the end of the year. These two, 4 points apart, fishing the final day, stressing the friendship, stressing the partnership.
We always talk about what one day in the Angler of the Year standings means. Jake Whitaker, Ron Moore's best bud, Jake Whitaker, leading Angler of the Year after day 2, stumbles yesterday. And here's what one day does on the Elite. So you always hear, you cannot have a bad day and win Angler of the Year. Drops 12 spots in one day.
Not to say couldn't still do it, but it'd be very, very difficult. Well, at this point, there's your standings right there. Just four points behind Matt Airy from Scott Canterbury, Jamie Hartman. Yeah, they're all with us today.
See, Kyle Welcher, we were with him yesterday. I asked him, I said, what kind of experience do you have fishing up north? He said, I've been up there one time in my life. I've been to Lake Oneida. And that's really the extent of those northern fishing, yes.
That's the real test.
Yes.
Now a Champlain would be right up his alley.
Yep.
Like with the ways you could fish there, but yeah.
Hoping Mark Menendez, not in this event, pulled out early before day 1. Had a back injury. Wishing him the best. Hope he gets better and maybe we could see him at one of the tournaments in New York. He was in bad shape.
Hurting a lot.
Really bad shape.
Track. How much?
The prescription 6 weeks of therapy, so he's going to be, going to be not a sure thing to be able to go again when we get to New York. But I hope it goes faster than planned. And our friend Mark Menendez is back in action. We need him out here.
Close, I think. I'm not sure what that said. It was 14, 14-1, something like that.
Menendez and Kelly J both took hits in the AOY standings.
Yes.
Not getting points this week. Because Kelly J finished third,
sure like one big
the
one
first
before I
event, he's
left
still
here.
mid-pack in points though.
Drue Cooks busted out the portable shade. Is that what he called it?
Shade tree.
Shade tree. The shade tree hat.
After
Pretty cool.
Shade tree.
I like that hat.
Good pile. These 3 piles were the ones that I caught.
Not
All
to
the
be
big
confused
ones
with
on
the after
yesterday.
taste the bait.
Drue Cooks, one of the rising stars in the Bassmaster Elite Series, said it was so hard for him not to go shallow in this tournament, knowing that we had rising water and that guys were catching them swim jigs, frogs, stuff like that. But he said, all honesty, I spent all of my time behind my steering wheel idling. But he said, man, it was painful the first 2 days to not creep up shallow.
Drue Cooks in the top 5 and Angler of the Year points as we start today.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey.
Any chance that we could feed the machine real quick?
How do you mean?
I don't know. Trivia?
Oh, you talk. Oh, sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Unlimited supply trivia. What was the weight of Leroy Brown, who was the...
That was awkward.
I know. I had
really
no idea
awkward.
what you're talking about. Usually it's a setup.
I like that.
Leroy Brown was the storied largemouth bass at Tom Mann's Fish World, a retail outlet there. Did Leroy Brown, at his height, we should say, weigh 6, 8, 9, or 11 pounds?
It's the easiest one ever.
Okay, if you had a look at Leroy Brown,
thought that on the last
take
one.
a guess. We'll be back.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
While I travel the country on the Bassmaster Elite Series, I simply can't let the weather be the reason I don't win $100,000. That's why I use AFCO clothing to keep me warm, dry, and protected from whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at me. My season depends on it. My career depends on it. AFCO, any fish, any water.
If you love bass fishing, then show your support by joining B.A.S.S. today. With your membership, you'll receive every issue of Bassmaster magazine, plus $50 in free gear, including a membership tackle bag, B.A.S.S. cap, plus more. Click now on this video to join today.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Well, this is the day we've been looking for. Championship Saturday. It's going to be decided today, the second stop on the tour for 2020. Our bass trivia question we left you with. Leroy Brown was the fish on display at the storied Tom Mann's Fish World back in the day. What was the weight? Did you get a chance to go by and look at Leroy Brown? Was it 6 pounds, 8 pounds, 9 pounds? It could have been all of the above, but we're talking about at his peak. How much did he weigh, Z?
Well, I mean, Leroy Brown was bad. Correct.
One of the worst individuals.
A 6 pound bass is not going to be bad. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going 11 pounds.
I'm with you on that.
No, come on.
I know the answer, so I can't. I'm not gonna
Okay.
But it's 6 pounds.
Wait a minute.
No, that's not right.
What? That's not a bad bass.
That's just
It
mildly
was.
disagreeable,
Tom
Leroy
Mann
Brown.
caught this in 73, put it in his tank. Just it was a super aggressive bass. It ruled his tank. He put in a big 30-something thousand tank. It mated for life, like with an 11-pound Big Bertha. When she died, it was trying to. The bass was trying to push her back down to bring her back to life.
What are you saying
This
right
fish,
now?
Oh, I'm off. The story of this fish is incredible. It mated with Big Bertha there.
Hell,
and
that
when
was
it
bad.
died,
What's
Tom
good, though?
Mann
What's
and
good
Ray
is
Scott.
Okay, Such. What's good is we get a B&W Trailer Hitches on the line moment with Clark Wendlandt. We missed being with Clark. We've spent so much time with him during the course of this tournament here. And Clark, give us the update. What's going on in your world so far today?
It is a grind for me. I tell you what. So what I did was I was in 9th place and felt like I had a long way to go. I figured out yesterday that I was sharing water with guys like Brandon Cobb and Shane LeHue, Scott Canterbury, Drue Cooks. So I just decided, all right, I can't catch up that way. I basically got to go and just find new stuff. And so I've spent my whole day looking for new stuff. And I just came to probably what I feel like has been my very best brush pile the whole tournament. Had one thump it just right when you guys started to come on, and I lost him on the way in. So, I'm going to run some stuff that I fished, some stuff I had in the rest of the day. If I get in the right rotation, maybe I can catch some big ones.
Well, it's all about the timing, and talk about that and how you can't just create the timing. You've got to have some positive feedback to know when to be where. And when you're finding new places, that makes it a little more problematic, doesn't it, Clark?
Well, it does. I mean, the thing about it is that new places, the way you find what I'm fishing is basically you get out there and idle. Where if you're idling, you're not fishing, and so it's tough. And I mean, that's hard to just like even make yourself do. But this lake's got a lot of brush in it, and so I've actually found I probably fished 20, maybe 30 piles today. And it just hadn't gone. I've had one other bite that I thought was a good one. I felt like this was a good one. And, it hadn't gone my way. But, I don't have a lot to lose. I'm going to keep swinging for the fences, see if I can catch a big one. Maybe get in that right time in rotation and see what happens.
Clark, you ended the 2019 season with a lot of momentum up on Lake St. Clair. We know you have a lot of Angler of the Year titles under your belt. Do you have one more run in you?
Gosh, see, that's like I'm an old guy. I mean, dadgum, I didn't think I was quite that old, but it's way too early. You know that, but I'd love that. I would love to just string together good tournaments and win. I've had some seconds in my career fishing bass, mega bucks years ago, several seconds, and I've not won one. And what I'd like to do more than anything is win, and then we can talk about Angler of the Year.
Clark, thank you so much, man. Yeah, get on one of those big piles and it can happen fast. We know it can happen fast.
I did that on purpose because I know I would take him off the rest of the day.
Oh, what a great guy. Clark Wendlandt, one of the legends of bass fishing, for
no
sure.
doubt.
We need to go back and frog with him again.
Yes.
That was fun.
Hey, I'll tell you, that guy is absolutely one of my heroes of bass fishing.
Always.
On and off the water, he is the real deal, man. Oh, we have had some heated derbies against each other throughout the year. Absolutely. And we would leave each other notes on our vehicles, too. There's no doubt. Great smallmouth fisherman. Very, very good smallmouth fisherman.
Well, he's doing good. Angler of the Year, he's top.
Yes.
He's 7th place right now. I mean, he's got the Classic coming up in Texas next year to get started. And, man, Clark's, I'm sure, thinking about that.
We're going to move.
My buddy Gross climbing up to 2nd place.
Wow. Started in 10th.
Started day one at 43rd.
Believe we have a picture of his jig too that he's throwing.
He said switching to that jig is sort of got his day going.
And I'm going to tell you, somebody that was on that jig bite was Carl Jacobson. Well, number one, you're going to know that just because Carl, besides a glider, he does live with a jig. True. That's what he won 10 killer with. But he was on that offshore jig bite.
Scott Canterbury relinquished the lead for about 40 minutes this morning, but it did not take long for him to get to the business at hand, which is what he's been doing all week long.
Yeah, you knew when he set the hook on that one, that was a real one. And hasn't sealed the deal yet, but boy, that is a big help to getting it done.
Yeah, he dropped a big bomb on everybody with that fish right there early on today.
Understand, a 180 height just got with Buddy Gross too, so we'll find out what's going on.
Good. We'll check out Buddy Gross, who's zoomed up from 10th all the way to 2nd place during the course of this first half day of fishing. We've got a little bit left in this half day. Bassmaster Live, we're going to do here until 11 Eastern time. Lake will go through on periods and off periods, and who's in the right place when it turns on. That's going to sort of guide the narrative through the rest of our day today. But Scott Canterbury has been in charge since yesterday, and he's looking to be the first guy to lead for 2 days on this lake, and that'll mean a win. The first win on the Bassmaster Elite Series for Scott Canterbury. We'll see how it all goes down. Take a break and be right back.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Here at this event, Clark Winlet is our most prominent Texas angler in the field and has been all week long. And all our Texas anglers and everyone else can't wait to get to the Classic 2021 up there on Lake Ray Roberts on the Trinity River. Known for kicking out some extremely oversized largemouth bass. We're going to have a great venue, host city, Fort Worth, Texas. It's a beautiful town, terrific place, brand new arena, the Dickies Arena, everything just falling into place for a killer classic coming up 2021, March 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Eldane listing one of our guys today, listing Ray Roberts as his home lake now that he's moved to Texas from California.
Well, that's right. Yeah, Chris is, it's official. Yeah, Chris is a Texan too. That was my oversight right there.
I think once he grew that mustache and started wearing cowboy hats and boots, he became a Texan.
Does he wear cowboy hats and boots? That's
Sometimes.
Probably a good deal. Scott Canterbury, though, the Alabama, man, the home cooking is in charge right now here. Scott Canterbury said he used to come to Eufaula as a boy, spent a lot of time here doing that worm fishing, just exactly what he's doing out there today. Buddy Gross from Tennessee, though, made the big move up the leaderboard. He's out of the 10th place and on up there behind Canterbury in second, but still a long ways to go. Brandon Cobb we caught up with for a brief time earlier this morning. Let's get back out on the water with Brandon Cobb.
Oh, don't go in the brush. Come out. That may be a big one. Can't really tell. He went in the brush right when I hooked him. Not huge, but he's not bad. Got treble hooks everywhere. You're good. I got him. Yeah, he just kind of gave up for me. Thank you, buddy. There goes Zuri. That's a 3-pounder, I would say. He didn't like the swim bait. Oh, there's mosquitoes. He wanted the crankbait. All right, let's see. 3 3/4.
Yeah, we can get to watch Buddy Gross for a while here too. That's good. Caught up with our second place man.
I'm just running a bunch of brush. That was one of my good ones. I got 2 bites on it and I lost one of them. I got another one down here. It looks like somebody may be on it, but I got 3 or 4 right here that really produce good, so we're gonna go hit them real quick. It's been a good morning so far.
Camera gal Ashley Wages, we've been with her so many times on throughout the season. Baby Height has been running around Lake Eufaula all week with Ashley, tracking down Buddy Gross for us. Kind of want to watch him dissect this lake. It seems like throughout, you made the comment a little bit ago, Ron Moore, weights going up throughout this tournament. Guys like Scott Canterbury and Buddy Gross has been one of those anglers kind of rebounding from the start of this tournament.
Yes, indeed. Canterbury, unlikely that you normally see that. He's been going up each day, 2012,
That
2013,
red boat right there is
22.
on my next brush pile. Pretty sure.
A little bit of breakup on the surface there, tiny bit of wind. 3 miles an hour, might have been a little bit more at some point here. Sunny and 70 degrees right now. I don't know how it gets any better than that. TH Marine Weather Watch.
It says it's going to get partly cloudy by noon there. Is that going to do anything, Z?
The only thing that you can say is really if you watched the first 3 days of competition, generally this time of day is when we've seen that little bit of a lull, a fish catch here or there. But after our midday break, when they, at least
Spinning rods.
during the week,
Everything up on the deck.
they were moving water after 1 o'clock. Talking to a lot of our local friends, they don't pull much water on this lake on a Saturday, usually.
Brandon Cobb, the former college angler at Clemson.
On this drop shot. I can barely throw it. Might as well be flipping.
Still lives in the Clemson, Hartwell area there, Greenville. There's Buddy.
I'm gonna have to get us a little closer for the old drop shot.
See a little bit of Buddy down at St. John's River.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Flipping
Looking
lily
forward
pad.
to see. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Looking forward to.
Something sharp poking me.
This is definitely way up his alley more than the St. John's and that type of fishing. He's good with grass, but it's more so offshore grass. But he's definitely a ledge fisherman and whatnot.
Got 2 that are potential weighers now. Got 2 just under 4 pounds, like 3 3/4. It's going on pace now. I don't start panicking until about 1 if I don't have them, because I've caught most of my fish between 11 and 1. So anything now I kind of consider a bonus, really, because it's been so slow in the mornings for me. The only wild card today is kind of the extra pressure out here. A lot of stuff might get fished multiple times before the afternoon. So I don't know if it'll be quite as fast-paced as it has been. But we really just need 3 good bites. So.
He was getting the bites yesterday afternoon, that's for sure.
Almost all of his weigh fish came later in the day.
Buddy Gross came out here to a lot of fanfare. Well respected.
Yeah, he's the
angler.
real deal.
Yeah,
that guy is the real deal all over the country.
Hot start here at the Elites, 11th at St. John's,
And he is classified as a rookie. To be a Bassmaster Elite Series rookie, you have to have less than $500,000 won for as a professional, just in general.
All tours.
Whether it's Bassmaster Opens, if you fished him for 20 years, or the FLW Tour, whatever it is, less than 500,000. I think he was 400,000 and change. He's only been doing it for 4 or 5 years on a national level. He just happens to have 2 wins in there. So
we got a bunch of good fish this morning early, which is rare. So if the afternoon bite's as good as it has been, we'll be in good shape today. We're still a few hours away from when I usually catch them. I went down. The fishing pressure's probably getting to it because we're sharing a lot of the same stuff. I know it is, but there's more fish moving out each day with this weather, so we just got to bump into a couple more of them and we'll be setting good. That's a daggum 9-pound.
What?
Maybe a 10-pounder.
What?
Hold on.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
Quit that. Quit it.
It's a whole new game now.
Party just got a little louder.
Wow.
Man.
He's 6'3" back at Canterbury. He's got a 2-pounder in his limit.
Yeah. Back on.
Hold on a minute.
Wheelhouse.
Boys better catch them. Some blue goes back.
And he's got room to grow with that other one right there.
Woo! 7+. Huh? 7?
His Fisher list is 5'0", 210, 2'6", 4'6", and now I don't know what he's going to enter that one in, but he said 7.
Hey, man. Wait, it's time for all of us to wake back up.
I think go get the luggage out of the car.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
That's a daggum 9-pound.
It's worth noting he got a good warm-up for fishing offshore. He fished a semi-pro event at Pickwick a few weeks ago. Got
Maybe a
second
10-pounder.
place. He is
Lord,
ready to go.
I'd say that he's been warming up fishing offshore at home for the last 3 months.
Okay, that puts him 1 pound 3 ounces behind Scott Canterbury, 79 pounds 6 ounces.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
quit that. Quit it.
Started the day, what was it, 7.5 back, 7.9. In 10th place.
Wow. That just happened. That just happened.
What can you say?
Hey, that could be, if he comes back to win, we'll get into the fantasy aspect of it. If he comes back to win, he could have the big bass of the tournament, the big bag of the tournament, and the win all together on the final day of the event. He might need it.
Look out, though.
There he is. That's a good one. Yeah. The 3-pounder there.
Gain a pound back with this call.
Maybe a pound or a little less. He could net. He's got a 2-pounder in there. Boy,
wow.
Buddy Gross landed a haymaker right there with
doubt.
that one.
He's got work to do, but he's in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. This fight ain't over yet. This could be
Unbelievable.
punch and counter punch all the way to the weigh-in.
Pay attention to what he said. My big ones come later in the day.
Yeah. A lot of confidence out there. We had a quick visit with him early, and he said, yeah, made a change. It's made a difference in my day, and boy, it has made a difference in this tournament. Scott Canterbury had that huge lead, now cut down to 2 pounds. The rest of the field, just maybe they're going to have to do something big time if they want to join the fray. But it could happen. You never know, as has just been demonstrated. We'll be right back with more Bassmaster Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Son gets it done. Jordan Lee back-to-back domination. Unbelievable.
Skeeter, is it still setting the standard? Let's see. First bass boat, first U.S. Coast Guard approved bass boat, first V-hull pad design, largest owners tournament, great fish and win program, first sponsored whole capacity concept, first production composite bass boat. Yeah, way too much for 30 seconds. And 18 consecutive CSI awards. Now we have introduced the FX Apex series, a fully featured boat with so many standard options, leaving nothing left to desire. So yes, we are still setting the standard. Skeeter.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
Well, there have been no complaints about this tournament, especially about the place. Lake Eufaula, it's been great action all 3 days. But now, man, oh man, this one has stepped up to the next level, Mark Zona. We thought Scott Canterbury and everybody understandably thought, no, it's going to be hard for anybody to take him down. Buddy Gross lands a big punch, and we have got a big-time battle on our hands here.
No doubt about it. Big thanks to Davey Height and camerawoman Ashley, who's out there right now, got with Buddy Gross. And this tournament right now, as of now, is far from over.
Boy, we got this. This is a fight, as we say, that could go on all the way to 3 o'clock. This afternoon, that's when the weigh-in happens, and man, oh man, what is going to happen between now and then? But right now, let's turn our thoughts to fantasy, and boy, the last person in the world who would gloat online is our own Ronnie Moore. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I meant the first person.
I would never.
First person to gloat online. We'll give you a little gloat time and some info time at the Screen of Knowledge, right?
Yes, well, the gloat will be, it'll come at the end, but some praise to others will come at the beginning. For Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing, I wanted to give a shout out to Brandon Addis. I think I'm saying his last name correctly. He's not leading the Lake Eufaula event for fantasy fishing, but overall, basically three events into the season, and he is the top player, and this is who he's picked this week. He obviously has bonus points in here with Scott Canterbury and Bill Lowen for leading a specific day of the event. That gets you 5 points for each day they lead. So Canterbury, Cook, Eldane, he's got those three fishing today. Cherry had a great comeback from 34th to 18th, and then Bill Lowen obviously led on day one. So he's sitting good, 1,330 points. That's a really, really solid event for not being at the top. He's just 40 points from the top there. Now we go over to who we picked. We all picked somebody individually who we thought would do well. David picked two, so I just gave him David Fritz out of the two, but he also picked Gary Klaus, who did well in the 20s. Welcher's been on camera. He did great for Mercer. Clint Davis finished in the top 25 for you, Tommy. Mm-hmm. David Mullins surprisingly missed the cut this week, just by a few ounces there in the 40s. Stetson Blaylock also missed the cut in the 40s. And I picked Buddy Gross there, but I always like to pick someone who's on my fantasy team, and that's a little bit of a reflection here. He was highly picked in bucket A, not the most though. He was like the second or third highest person in that bucket, but he's so great at offshore. He was my only guy coming into the final day that was still fishing. And this is what's key with it. In fantasy fishing, there's tiers of points that it goes up. First place gets 300 points, 10th place gets 260. So if Gross were to come back and win this event, he would bump 45 points just for moving up a couple spots on the final day for whoever has him, and that is a lot of prizes. You said it in the commercials, $90,000 worth of stuff Rapala is giving away.
Per week prizes are way up this year.
Yep. Exactly. So his big charge is not only going to help his pocketbook and his paycheck and whatnot, it's going to help a lot of people in the fantasy standings. 45 plus points if he gets the win and if he gets moves up those spots. Also, if he gets the biggest bass or the biggest bag of the event, that's another 40 bonus points. So he could honestly jump 120 points today in fantasy and change the whole thing.
Ron, I talk fantasy football with my wife, the Scorpion Woman, Karen, at home a lot throughout the season. Do you talk fantasy fishing at home with your wife? You do.
Most of the time I do, yeah. And she, I'll say that she responds. But they might be like you know what? Just go with your gut.
Yeah.
That's what she often says. So I don't know if she actually means it or if she just wants me to stop asking her. But hey,
probably a little of both.
She's a big she's a big Buddy Gross Stetson Blaylock fan. You know, she'll go with whoever I pick.
Big day for her then if she's a Buddy Gross fan. That is for sure. Buddy Gross said those boys better be catching him out there. So Buddy Gross knows that he's got some potential for the remainder of this championship Saturday.
I'm going to have a fun rest of the day with these two.
Well, the story of the day, we can lay it out for you if you're just checking in with us now. Scott Canterbury came into the day with a huge lead over the rest of the field. About 7:36 this morning.
Stay on, baby.
Catches this one.
Stay on, please.
At this point, he had dropped out of the lead, but only briefly.
That's the one. Stay on. Woo! Stay on. That's one of them anyhow.
Now, right at this exact same time, somewhere else on the lake, out of our vision, Buddy Gross was catching a 5-pounder. Getting a good start to his day, but he's starting down in 10th place, the bottom spot among our 10 anglers who are out there today.
Four-pounder.
We kind of gave up on the rest of the field catching Scott Canterbury until this one right here just moments ago from Buddy Gross.
Buddy Gross had put together
That's
a pretty good limit. Still a long way to go.
Might be a 10-pounder. Oh, Lord. Quit that. Quit it.
Changed the whole thing. Absolutely changed the whole tournament. 180 degrees, and he's hooked up again live. Got a 2.5er in there.
He's about a 410 5-pounder to take the lead.
5-pounder, he takes the lead.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's got room to grow.
Mm-hmm. Got a 210, a 2.5er.
I mean, you think about it, 12 to 13 pounds of his 22 is 2 fish.
2 fish.
Yeah.
No good, no upgrade.
Majority of his work has been done with a swim bait. Big worm early in this tournament. Said he made a switch yesterday to a homemade jig, actually a prototype jig for Nichols lures. Zoom super chunk on the back. We've got a picture of that jig we'll show a little bit later, Ron.
Yep, for sure.
You could tell listening to him. He knows. He knows he's right in the mix now.
Grove started his day 8 pounds back. We'll be back in action here in just a minute or two. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Brandon Cobb.
That one. That's not a little one. Don't go in the brush pile.
I don't really care if he jumps because there's a big brush pile right there. Oh, he's barely hooked. I mean, barely. Yeah. I can't pull very hard because he's. Come here. Gotcha. Another 3-pounder. Look at that. That's all we had him by. Now I got myself.
Brandon Cobb, another one whose best hours may well be ahead of him. This afternoon and right around noon, that's when his bite has been firing the last couple of days.
It's an incredible lake.
Oh,
it really is. Like, if you want to take a vacation, go fishing with your family, go here right now.
Yeah, you've had ample opportunity to learn a few things about how to fish it during the course of the last 3 days, and we are learning more today. Today also we're going to learn who's the winner. Right now, that's kind of up in the air. All of a sudden, as Buddy Gross moves within a couple of pounds of our leader, Scott Canterbury, who was previously absolutely running away with this thing, and Buddy Gross coming out of 10th place. 8 pounds back.
That's one of the biggest swings that we have seen on a final day in a long, long time.
Oh, man, the timing couldn't be more dramatic. And what is yet to come? We're going to take a break and back with more Bassmaster Live.
The DeWalt Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
I can vividly remember back when I was a kid and, searching for information. And it was so much work and it was such a struggle to get that knowledge, to get that information.
We talked about the equipment, we talked about the bait, we talked about how to pick it apart.
It's highly detailed, specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly. That's what the Bass University is all about.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool, and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
You're watching the DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula, being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
It's Bassmaster Live. This tournament has had it all. The fishing has been fabulous. Just the fact that we have fishing has been a tremendous boost for everyone's feeling of well-being. Eufaula has been terrific. We've had everything except, just major drama. Now we've got major drama to add to the mix as well. Buddy Gross coming from 10th place to come within a couple of pounds of Scott Canterbury, who previously kind of had this thing, you have to say, pretty much locked up, barring something dramatic happening, and that has happened. Out to Buddy Gross right now. Just caught a 7-pounder and changed the face of this tournament completely. That one will not make it. Interesting to see if he catches one on his very next cast. Seems to be the way it's been going.
Fighting here right now.
Boy.
He's a little bitty one, but he's probably bigger than one of them 111s. There. We might gain us a couple ounces. I have two that weighed 111, so maybe that's a 2-pounder. Wind. $115.
Uh-oh. Yep.
It's got a bigger head on it.
Skinny. I hope.
You can tell you're working with a guy that's been there and done it. It'll help.
He called out that 2.6. His smallest is now at 2.10.
Yeah. It ain't the one we needed. It's skinny. I'm gonna say
But it helped.
That's my phone. You keep hearing whistle. Well, my trailer finally died, so I got to get the zoom box out. I got a brand new jig laying there, but this daggum thing has carried me so far. It's been a prototype. Come on, fish.
Again, it's a Nichols Lures prototype. Buddy's been working on that on his own.
That's the way this battle has gone on since the early days, the first day. Got Canterbury won day one. He just barely won day two against Buddy. Took him decisively down on day three, but right now.
Got us a heavyweight fight.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, for real.
Gross was outside the cut after day one in the 40s.
Wow.
43rd suit.
Third, yes.
Just that bait adjustment yesterday. He said, I'm telling you, we got to talk to Buddy last night. He said, man, when I went to a jig, it was like they have not seen that thing in these brush piles on this lake.
See if we can get 3 casts in a row here.
And he said he'd keep a swim bait honest.
It's one of those things you fire them up on a jig and then you can maybe catch 3-pounder, 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 and then catch a giant on something different.
Big thanks to camerawoman Ashley Wages, Davey Height.
Talk about getting there just in time, huh?
Just in time, and I mean have knocked some
Yeah,
miles
I'm just gonna make a rotation now. I mean, we've got a lot better bag than what I expected for this time of day. So I got 3. I'm pretty sure that'll make the ride all day. So I got 2 more that I could cull. So I've got about 5 more brush piles that I'm gonna actually go run. I just hope that I can upgrade 2 more times. If I can upgrade 2 more times, them boys got to catch them. I'm gonna go back and hit the same ones over. I got about 4 that I'm gonna hit again several times during the day, but we're just gonna rotate through. I just keep getting bit here, and this one right here is gonna get fished at some point during the day when I leave. So I'm trying to make sure I get all the good off of it as much as I can right now, so maybe somebody can't come in behind me and hurt them or catch one that'll hurt me, I guess what I'm trying to say. It's been a really good place, but it'll reload again. We stop and hit it again later. If nobody's hit it, we should get a couple off of it again.
Buddy Gross outlining the rest of his day as he sees it right there. We've just been with Buddy. We just Davey and Ashley arrived there about 30 minutes ago, made the swap over, got in the boat, and this is what we saw in that short period of time.
Giant one here for Buddy Gross, and we are gonna watch a master at offshore fishing for the rest of the day. Phenomenal.
Quit that. Quit it.
Boy, if you got Buddy Gross on your fantasy team like you, Ron Moore.
Wow.
You are in a good mood, right?
You've got bragging rights. Now that one took Buddy's breath away when he first got a good look at it, and man, did it change the whole complexion of the tourney.
Man, that's awesome.
Honestly thought it was like a catfish when he said that's 9 or 10 pounder because he was playing it off so nonchalantly. Then it came up.
Proceeded just to wreck him for.
Tell he's the guy that runs in the end zone, just kind of hands the ball to the ref and waits for his next handoff.
Like he's been there before. Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff out there on the water. We got ourselves a tournament now. No question about that. Scott Canterbury still in the lead. Buddy Gross has changed the whole thing around. About only 180 degrees or so. Brandon Cobb, Drue Cook, all the rest. Boy, they're going to have to do something on the order of Buddy Gross now to get to be part of the conversation. But who knows? We said earlier, we don't know what's going to happen out here today.
It's going to be a fun afternoon.
Oh my gosh. Our afternoon prospects are looking great. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Is being brought to you live by Minn Kota.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Sign up to compete in the inaugural Hook Bassmaster B.A.S.S. Nation Kayak Series, powered by Tourney X, presented by Abu Garcia in 2020. The trail features 5 regular season events, with a championship to be held in conjunction with the 2021 Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic, presented by Hook. The first tournament will be at Logan Martin Lake in Bell City, Alabama on March 5th, in conjunction with the 50th Bassmaster Classic. To find out more details and to register, visit bassmaster.com/kayak. If you love bass fishing, then show your support by joining B.A.S.S. today. With your membership, you'll receive every issue of Bassmaster magazine, plus $50 in free gear, including a membership tackle bag, B.A.S.S. cap, plus more. Click now on this video to join today. Bassmaster Sweepstakes prizes are crazy good, and you'd be crazy not to enter.
Yeah, baby!
Enter now to win a fishing trip with 50th Bassmaster Classic champion Hank Cherry. Trip includes airfare, rental car, hotel, and $500 cash, plus a Basscat Sabre FTD with Mercury 150 Pro XS Garmin electronics, and an amazing prize pack. Total value more than $50,000. There's a 100% chance you won't win if you don't enter. Go to Bassmaster.com and up the odds in your favor. It's fast and easy, and who knows, you could win.
If you want to know how the best anglers always seem to find fish, stay on fish, and be in the right place at the right time, don't ask them. Just look at the name on the side of their boat. The one that's built 10 million motors, shallow water anchors, and more. No angler's going to tell you their secrets, but they don't have to, because you already know. Minn Kota. Fish for more.
The DeWalt's Bassmaster Elite at Lake Eufaula is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Berkeley, Nitro Boats, and by Ranger Boats.
Here on Eufaula, they've caught him pretty good this morning. Especially our guy that started with the lead, Scott Canterbury, but you can see what has happened. Buddy Gross, now in second place, started in 10th place and just landed a lot of heavy-duty punches in this battle right here. And now it is a battle. It is a heavyweight bout for the rest of the day. We couldn't be happier about that. Our TH Marine Weather Watch. Current conditions starting to cloud up a little bit more. Such pointed out it's going to get partly cloudy officially this afternoon. Just gorgeous. 80 degrees, perfect day, just absolute great day. The very end of spring as we approach the calendar start of summer. Now, a lot of people say actual weather or sunshine summer starts at the 1st of June, so now we got to argue that every year. We'll just hang with the calendar for a while. Take you out to our leader, Scott Canterbury. Took over that lead in the tournament yesterday. Started with a good margin.
I know I got a call. Either one really big one or get 2 solid ones and I have a chance. There's one. Ain't much to him.
His smallest is entered as a 2.5.
It didn't help. Got a bite, but it didn't help. You know, I mean, we get enough bites, we'll get a good one, though. I mean, I need one big one. I've been able to catch, I've been blessed and had some big ones this week. I just need to get one of them today. It's not, they're not everywhere. Two and a half pounders won't get you nothing done down here. Will not get it done. Two and a half, get your feelings hurt.
Scott's listed at 16 pounds today. We're a bit off in our estimations yesterday, so we'll see his long lens look at Drue Cooks right there. He was just a little bit away from Scott Canterbury. Scott from Odenville, Alabama, proved last year he can catch them everywhere.
Yes.
Absolutely everywhere. Boy, he seems particularly good at doing this brush pile deal on Lake Eufaula.
Amazing to listen to Canterbury know that he needs a couple calls yet today.
Need a 5.
That area hooked up. Oh, I think that's earlier today. Yeah, we're just about to run out of time for our morning session right here as we look back on some of the big moments from the final day championship Saturday on the water at terrific Lake Eufaula. Jamie Hartman with the fastest start of anyone. Grabbed that lead, which was destined to have it for just a short period of time, and so that's the way it turned out.
What an unbelievable morning, man. These guys have knocked their lights out all week long. This fish right here absolutely will make the rest of the day for us.
That's number one.
You get the feeling that Scott Canterbury and Buddy Gross are going to write a big chapter in the history of the Bassmasters this afternoon. We're going to step away for an hour, be back at noon.